Okay there guys, so for today's war we're going to be up against LVT here. As you can see, it's back to my good old faithful war team here. Nothing against this team. It was nice having a couple wars away from it against GT40 and an XK9 who I still haven't posted. They're not going to be in this war. I have a lot more fights again, as you can tell by the length of this video. So I decided it's past 10 minutes already. I don't want to like just keep dragging out the video. So maybe next war. Maybe they'll be the last war I post of the season, I don't know. So starting off, getting on all the big boosts. If you don't know the current rate of the season, so we just beat GT40, so we're both sitting at the same score of war wins and war losses, but they have died less times than us, so they win in the tiebreaker right now. So pretty much how we have to play every war is we need to win, and we have to treat every war like GT40. We have to drop 0 to 2 deaths. If we drop 0 to 2 deaths, we have a chance at winning the season. If we start dropping more than that, that's going to be an issue. So I was like debating on putting on suicides or not, but I realized when I moved up to trigger an energy, I was like, shoot, this guy's rank 2. I don't want to mess around with a rank 2 because I also only have one power start 1 right now, so I didn't want to mess around with just the invul on. So I'm like, I'm gonna put suicides on. So here I'm trying to make sure I do let myself shrug off some debuffs, so that way I gain up my monster mass, so that way I can trigger my frenzy. As you can see, I already have the 5 up. And right here, I'm going to start playing where I'm not going to really get too many more monster mass. I probably should have made sure I got a couple more here, so I had a longer time. I had the 5, and it had said monster mass ready, or that frenzy is ready, but it didn't trigger. So right here, I'm going to throw it. It's going to get me just under the SP2. And as you can see, from having gotten his 4 Furies, his tick of Cold Snap is doing quite a hefty chunk. It was almost a 2k tick. So I'm going to take the 25% damage there, 27% damage. And that's going to be a little bit rough. And as I said, treating this like it's a very, very serious war, so obviously going to take off suicides from Void. I almost wonder if I could have. So my officer told me to beware of the unblockable and the unstoppable. So for the unblockable, it's only going to happen if he gets into Curse of Lycanthropy. I hope I said that right. I don't know. So if he gets into the curse mode, after a special he'll go unblockable, or during a special he'll go unblockable. I'm trying to remember which one it was. But so I'm trying to make sure he doesn't get into the curse, and then this also has, it's that same node as last time where every buff he has reduces my defensive ability accuracy. And right here, what I was worried about was him triggering the unstoppable from my dex. But as you can see, so the howl, if he is duped, when he howls, he can gain the unblockable and the unstoppable. So I want to try to make him not howl too often, which he has a chance of howling after heavies, dashbacks, and specials. And it's going to gain him power, Curse of Lycanthropy charges, and it's also going to, if he was duped, it would make him unstoppable and unblockable, which that's where the fight would be an issue right here, is if he was duped. Luckily, because he's duped, I'm like, okay, right now I have an invul, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to use my Ant-Man there, and he actually gets the curse there, but I'm able to kill him before it happens. So on a path right now, he doesn't seem to be too big of an issue because I was able to kill him before he got to curse mode. Once he gets to curse mode, it'll be a bit of an issue. I'll need to make sure I get down his specials, because if those are unblockable, he jumps pretty far across the screen, as you saw, and they do a bit of damage. I think he does a lot of his damage on specials, from what I'm remembering from the champion deep dive and stuff. So right here, I want to heal Moleman up prior to putting on my power start 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another invul here for this Quake fight, because again, I want to make sure everything's as safe as it can be. And an invul for this fight against Claire here isn't crucial, but it makes it so much safer. Right here, I'm counting the energy I'm going to need. I was trying to decide if I was going to have to use energy refills, or like what type of energy refills and stuff. And I end up deciding, I haven't decided it yet, I'm going to end up using the full energy refill, because I needed 8 moves, I believe it was. Or, I needed more than 8 moves. If I was 8, I would have done a small. I needed like 10 moves, 12 moves. So something like, or not 12, like 10 or 11 moves. So I was going to use a full refill, just that way I make all the way up my lane here, because I was going to do that Wong that's up there in that top left corner, and so I need to make the portal to him, and the portal after him. So I'm going to finally speed up the Quake fights here. This is 1.75. You can let me know if it looks a little bit too fast. So I actually took a parry very, very early on there. Fortunately, she didn't instantly nullify the placebo when I parried it as well. But the reason why I like the invul for this fight a lot is if I do make the mistakes and she gets her SP1, assuming I haven't been hit, I can technically just keep quaking as she has a bar of power, because it's only a single hit SP1. And the issue with Claire's SP1 is her SP1 actually hits very, very hard if it crits, but if I have an invul, it's a single hit, boom, hits me, oh no, I'm back to quaking, you know? So that's part of why I like the invul a lot for that fight. So right here is where I have to change into Suicides again, and I have to put on a Power Start 1 boost. And I want to carry it from Null into Wong if I can, because I've done that Wong before with a Power Start 1. So I cut it out because I restarted my app because my game was feeling a little bit laggy at one point. I'm just like, I'm just going to play it safer because like new content just dropped, BGs just dropped, there's a lot of traffic. So I'm like, I'll just restart the game. I'll just play it extra safe right now. And so yeah, I needed to put on Suicides, and I'm going to put on the Power Start 1. I'm going to go in. I have Mole Man already healed, and I have already used my energy refill, so I can use my time as efficiently as I can. I'm going to check this out. The only notable thing is he's not on the first node. He's on Painful Retreat, so every 10 seconds, I'm going to gain a Power Sting debuff, but every 10 hits on my combo, just like Void, I can remove it. So I also made one adjustment to my fight against Null here, is I was actually going to shrug off that first Living Abyss, if you noticed, so that way I have a little bit less inequity on me. And right here, I'm just going to be confident with my ability to block the unblockables. And right as I hit 20, I want to throw that second SP2 there because I didn't want to wait for the Power Sting. This is going to luckily push me up to 25 hits, get a lot more Living Abyss on me there, which is a bit of an issue. But I'm just going to try to time it, and I get off the Power Sting, and his Power Sting timer still wasn't quite there, so I was able to throw the third SP2 and I finished the fight, and that's how I like that fight looking. There was a couple wars ago where I had that one really messy Mole Man fight, and I've been trying to make sure I took it properly after that. Right there I realized, wait, because of the way the new map is, I always want to, I've been making sure I double check my portals, because it happened a lot in off-season for my BG, that we messed up the portals, for the first war or two. But so I was trying to make sure I don't do that, so I was making sure which one I go to first. I'm like, okay, I have already taken the Suicides off. I cut that out of the video. So Suicides are off. I have on my full greater attack, greater attack and glass cannon on, full despair, and 2 points in petrify. So I'm just trying to throw as many SP1s here as I can. I miss a parry, which is never good on Bubble Shield. And right here, I'm like, okay, I have a 33% SP3 boost. I'm gonna go ham. I'm going in. So I wish he had already thrown his heavy, which is where I was going to realize something pretty soon for that. But right here, I'm going to decide to throw my heavy so that I make sure I keep that slow on him just in case I dex. And right there, I tried to slip out of it, but I ended up eating it, which caused me to get rooted. But I have my SP1, so I'm like, okay, all's good. I want to bait a heavy here, but he doesn't throw it. And then I do a shallow dex, and I accidentally get clipped. And this is where I got a little bit worried for the fight, because I'm rooted, and I know I need to bait a heavy, and I also have a dex on me, and I don't have a slow on him. So fortunately, I was able to stun him and hit him, and I noticed no unstoppable. Keep going, throw my Ant-Man, throw my SP1, and it's over. Not the cleanest fight for that, mainly because of that SP2. If I had slipped out of the SP2 or just held block on the SP2, I have a chance of not getting rooted there, and if I don't get rooted there, I don't take as much damage. Really what happened there is I had the Petrifies on, and I was trying to bait out a heavy so I don't take the damage back. And if I bait out the heavy, he power drains himself, and then he power drains himself, so he doesn't necessarily throw his SP2. I dex back, I use his unblockable charge, and the fight goes good after that. But instead, he throws the SP2, I get rooted, and I have to worry about the unstoppable a little bit. But I get back on my heavy slow, and I'm able to finish off the fight there. So for this fight, there's two things. One, I forgot that this node had aggression prowess. I was like, shoot. And then it has 30% insult to injury. But it's shock incinerate, and incinerate starts first. So that means for over half the fight, I'm not going to be getting debuffs on me. The other important thing is, right, the global reduces damage of DOT, passives, and debuffs. So his degens, as long as I have debuffs on him, aren't going to do damage. and same for the shocks. But the shocks will lower my ability accuracy. So for the first part of the fight, I'm like, I'm just going to get up my heavy. I want to get the slow for the extra debuff damage from Void. Of course, instantly triggers anti-life field. It's not a Mojo fight if you don't have the absolute worst RNG in the world. It's the classic for fighting him. So SP1 with Aggression Prowess, I'm going to take a lot of block damage. Right there, I took the Indestructible. I talked to one of my officers, and we were talking about it, and we're like, technically, I could, like, eat an SP3, and if I have the debuffs on him, I won't take any damage because I'll invul for the SP3, and if you notice, I don't take any damage from his degen, so I wouldn't even take any damage from an SP3, which is why I was potentially thinking about pushing him up, but I decided not to. I didn't want to play it that risky, so I took a little bit of block damage on me, but I'm really just healing from these shocks. Like, I'm healing a lot. I don't know if he has really that much to spare on, considering I have 5 debuffs on and I'm healing a ton like that. So right there, again, I use the Ant-Man. I am definitely liking having that 5-star Ant-Man relic on there. It's definitely doing a fair bit of damage, and it adds an extra debuff there. So, and I've been using it a fair bit, and I feel like I've been using him pretty well. I was a little bit hesitant to start adopting relics, but I'm happy I have. So this is the score currently. It's like 11 hours left in war or something like that, I think. And they have 5 fights left. We have 13 fights left, and hopefully we can finish out strong on those last couple fights. It's all we got to do. I'm not going to say the war is over yet. It's never over until it's over. I'm confident in my team, though, and it's been a very, very good war against LVT. 3 deaths is a very good score. And I believe I remember I was talking to someone in LVT, and I think they had a really odd death, and those happen. But so 3-1 hopefully is the ending score. Pardon me. I'll post the score tomorrow, but it's a very, very good war, very fun war against LVT. I've been liking playing LVT a lot in the past couple seasons. They're a really fun alliance that use a lot of fun counters, and they have a lot of good people, so it's always been fun. So thank you guys a lot for coming back and watching. I hope this final week of war goes well for you guys, and I hope you've been liking 8.3. I'll see you guys soon, though. Bye!